Just a quick shop update. One of the things I'm doing with this shop is I'm going to be making products and whatnot. I'm not going to be a job shop or anything like that. So my focus lately has been getting things done that I need to get done. So I haven't had time to make any videos. I'm not going to be videoing or detailing what I'm doing as my business. What I'm going to be detailing and doing is just my personal projects in here. Right now I have a press. The steel for the press is at the welder and he's welding it up. So by next week the press should be back here, and then I'm going to start assembling that and getting that squared away. Press will be put over there. That corner is going to be cleaned completely out. I got electrical to put over there still. This has been a lot of work. I mean, I've had to completely redo this entire building. I've had to, as you can see, I've spray foamed insulated. I finally got the lights up. I got 3 banks of lights. That's one bank. That's another. And that's another. And I can turn each bank on and off individually. I got the milling machine set up finally. And the table at next month is going to be coming off, and it's being sent to be reground so that the table surface is nice and flat. Right now it is not nice and flat. It's pretty beat up, and I'm pretty ticked off at the people I bought it from. It's a place in Massachusetts that deals in Bridgeport milling machines. You know, they just do a lot of cosmetics and make it look nice, and you know, they don't care if you need a good machine or not. And of course this seems to be a trend with dealers. I had the same exact issue with that right there, and that's been nothing but a nightmare. You know, the spindle was just mangled when that came. It wouldn't hold a chuck straight, and I had to redo the spindle. I was gonna film that, but it turned into such a nightmare, I just decided forget it. Now I find the tailstock is not the correct tailstock to that lathe. The center is lower in height than the center that I have mounted in the chuck right now. So what I've done is I've had to band-aid the tailstock to bring the center there up level with the center on the lathe, and I've had to shim it up, and so now I'm too high, and so now I have to bring down the brass, and plus the ways on here on this on there and on here are just really beat up bad. The ways on the lathe are in really good condition, and I don't want to jack them up because of this thing. The temporary fix is to put brass on there. It's softer. It's not going to hurt the ways on the lathe. What I'm going to have to do eventually is I'm going to have to make a whole new base plate for this tailstock. So that's going to happen sometime this summer. But for now, as you can see, I've got the ways blued up on the lathe, and I'm just knocking down, scraping the high spots down. I've got a bit of material to remove to get that leveled. It's a nightmare to say the least. And what I've got going on there is this is going to get faced off. I'm going to edge that off with an end mill, and that facing mill is going to smooth the top of that. I'll flip it over, do the other one, boom, boom. And this is going to be bolted to the metal lathe. That piece of steel is going to be mounted over here, free of the carriage, so that the carriage can move. That steel is going to be like a little table over here. It won't move. And this here, this thing here that I made out of flat bar, I milled the top and bottom. I didn't bother with the sides because it's not critical. And I milled those slots in there, and I milled the sides and drilled it out and put that bearing in there. And This will get mounted here. I got to drill and tap this cross slide. So this will be adjustable. This will be able to move in and out. And what I'm going to do is have patterns that I can bolt to that little table and follow with this, so I can do patterns on here. I got the idea from a YouTuber in Russia, and I will link his video in the description. So this is the center in the lathe that I'm trying to mate up to. You can see the bluing I got laid down on the ways there. The ways are in really good condition. I finally got the spindle close enough. It's not perfect. I have repeatability, exact repeatability between two different chucks that go on here, so I'm real happy with that. There's less than a 10,000ths run out this way on the chuck, and you can't even tell. And plus, what I did is I bought a set true chuck, so you can see that's what these are for. So if it's even out a little bit, I can adjust this to make it perfect, which is what I've done. And I can wind this up on the highest RPM, and there's no vibration at all. So I've got it spot on. The only other issue is change gears, which I have none. The Takasawa lathe. It's a good lathe. It's good and heavy. But if I had to do over again, I don't think I'd buy it. The problem with these is there's not a lot of them out there. They're very well made, but there's not a lot out there. And change gears are always missing. It's not like all the other common lathes that are out there that you get on eBay and just find tons of parts. So I'm going to have to resort to making the change gears that I need for this. And I've got a dividing head for the milling machine so that I can do that. So I got the milling machine in place, got a tool holder mounted, collet holder. I put up that shower curtain to keep chips from flying into my box on the other side. And I've done a lot of work in here. I had to install that electrical. There was only one 110 outlet or 120 outlet coming in here, or line. And they had it run to a whole bunch of outlets and lights, and it was way overburdened. And when I started this, I didn't know I was going to put in three-phase. There's my three-phase inverter and box there. And there's the three-phase sub panel. And then that's the main sub panel I put in. And I've got all the wiring running through conduit, so it's nice and safe. So that's and of course the insulation I put in here, I can keep this shop warm with just that little space heater there. And you can see how heavy that lathe is. You can see how nice and beefy all that cast iron is, so it's nice and stable. And it cuts really good. It's a 14 by 44. I don't think I could really handle anything bigger in this small shop. So I got, that is going to be on a pedestal eventually. And that is a vacuum / pressure pot, which is going to go into my basement. It's going to be taken out of here. And of course, that's my bandsaw. All that stuff, most of that's going to be removed. And then I got a buffer off Craigslist, and it came with a lot of goodies. I got a really good deal on it. So that's, I'm really happy about that. I'll be able to polish stuff up now. And of course the press is going to go where the other press is, and I don't know where I'm going to put that press. And then here I got, you can see the steel plate here is for my welding table. So that's going to be finished off by next month, couple, 2-3 weeks. And then that table saw is going to be removed out of here so I can have the room. Gonna get new shelving because that one's barely holding up. And that's my swamp cooler. That's gonna be going. I'm gonna be putting a swamp cooler on the roof, and I'm gonna be installing an exhaust fan there so I can exhaust fumes out of the shop in a hurry. And of course, there's my welder, my toolbox. It's got my big machinist tools in there, my surface plate. So nothing fancy. It's a small shop, but I'm, glad that I have it. Hopefully we'll get this thing working and get it going. The tooling has been expensive. Everything has been expensive. I was a mechanic by trade, and I thought the Snap-on tools I had to buy was expensive when I was in the shop. But these tools far and exceed anything I've ever spent with Snap-on. These tools are just outrageously expensive. It is what it is. I have a lot more I have to buy, but I'm really close. I'm going to be building behind that door there a 3-sided structure or an open structure. Actually, what's going to happen is the wall of the structure I need to build will be attached to the outside of the shop there and run along the property line, and it'll have a roof, and then it'll have another wall, and then it'll be pretty much open to the elements. And I've already got a forge back there, and that's where I'm gonna be heating up my my metal that I'm gonna be forging out and whatnot, because I can't run a forge in here. It just would not work. The shop is too insulated. It's too small. I mean, even if it didn't have insulation, I mean, that forge would just turn this place into an oven. And I've still got the ceremonial pipe, which I have to get finished sometime hopefully within the next couple weeks. I have a ceremony that I'm going to be going to in early June, and I need to have it done by then. So I will be filming the finishing up of that and getting that wrapped up. That got put on hold because of all the stuff going on in here. So we got that. I don't know, I don't have a lot to film right now because of where I'm at, so the videos will be kind of sketchy. But once I have everything in order and going, then I'm going to be planning. I've already got some projects planned, and we'll be filming those. But like I said, I'm not going to be filming the business end of this. Anyway, that's it for the shop update. We'll see you on the next one.